Welcome to the brand new session of SAP XI. In this session, we'll be covering up the basics of XI, and I'll show you all the components, major components which are needed to work on XI system. So to start the integration builder in a XI system, I'm logged into a XI system, and the transaction for starting an integration builder is SXMB _ IFR. Here you can see which are the major tools provided by XI to work with. We have something called integration repository, wherein we keep our data, all the information and relevant data is stored in the integration repository, and these data which are stored in integration repository is configured in integration directory. We define our system landscape in system landscape directory, and these are some set of tools which are used to monitor various components of XI. So we'll briefly go through each and every component of these, and just to get a flavor of what it exactly does. So when I open so you can see in system landscape directory I have the following options of maintaining my landscape and my software catalog, wherein I can keep my products, my software components which I am using, my technical systems and the business systems. Basically a combination of multiple software components. So I can say a single software component can be mapped to a single product, or it can be mapped to multiple products. And when I say a business system and a technical system is something like which has a host, which has a physical location and technical details, and every such technical system is mapped to a business system. So in case of SAP, I can say my ECC is a technical system, wherein I can give the host address and other technical details of this ECC system. And if I talk about business system, each kind of this ECC system can be referred to as a business system. And in other third-party vendors or third-party softwares, we don't have a concept of kind in most of these systems. So a technical system is directly mapped to a business system. So all this called SAP for SAP APU. I'll go down into products and filter with name APU. I can see these are the versions of the products. So every product has a version, and for APU these are the 3 versions which are being maintained. So similarly, we can go and maintain your software components over here. You can have your technical systems over here. So SLD is basically used to define the system landscape of your XI. Moving on to the other stuff, we'll see what's integration repository and how does it look like. Yes, let's open. So when I see an integration repository, these are my software components which have been maintained in the system. I can open up a software component for a version, and these are some namespaces. So a namespace in XI is similar to a package, wherein you have all your things stored. So when I say the namespace contains all these things, mapping object, adapter object, and everything. We briefly see what the interface is. A message interface is basically, if I say is something which is mapped to a business system, and it has something called output message. So this interface can have an output message and an input message, but this is a material outbound interface. So it is mapped to an output message of MT_material, and the attribute is outbound type, and it's asynchronous in nature. It means that it doesn't wait for a response when it sends a message, and it is maintained in this namespace. So when I double click on MT_material, so I can see what is the structure of this message type, and this is a node, and these are the names, and you can see the type over here. And the occurrence briefly describes what is the minimum and the maximum occurrence it can have. So for the occurrence, for the items for which the occurrence is 1, it means it's a mandatory field. Wherein for 0 to 1, so the minimum occurrence can be 0. So it's an optional field. And this material, MT_material, is mapped to a type called DT_material. So if I double click on this, I'll directly land into a DT_material. And what is the structure of this DT_material? This is a brief idea of how does a message interface looks like. These are all the message types which we use. You can see our MT_material over here, and we have certain other stuff like imported objects. So wherein you can plug into this particular namespace, not the namespace but the software component. This gives a basic idea of how does an integration repository looks like. We'll go and have a look on integration directory. Stuff we have in integration repository can be configured. So we can see which business system should be mapped to which business system, and what should be the communication channel between these two systems. So if you see this, these are all some scenarios which have been created. If I open some scenario and we'll just go through it, what does it mean? Service without party has a business system called A, B, and backend. So particularly A is a center system, business system which has been configured over here. And you can see what are the communication channels which have been used. This is SOAP sender. This is a receiver system, and then this is a SAP backend, which is a ECC system. So for example, if you want to send a SOAP message from this business system, and you want it to be mapped or to be sent into a SAP backend, then you'll have to include it into a scenario, and wherein you'll have to mention the communication channel, the outbound communication channel for this is a SOAP sender, and then IDOT receiver on the receiver side, and you have to map these two, wherein we have a receiver determination. So for every, let's see this, let's maximize it. So I can see that this is a receiver determination for this service as a sender with this interface. The receiver should be receiver services SAP backend. So I can also keep my, and now when you know what is the service, we'll have to determine which interface is going to pick up that particular message. I can give an example. If you say that a business system is something like your home, and there are people inside your home, so every individual can be an interface. So every individual can post a message or receive a message. So when I say that this letter should go to this home, I should also say that which interface it should go to. It means which individual it should go to. So it's important. So once you say that this is the address, I should also say which interface is responsible for picking up this data. So this is my inbound interface, and there's an interface mapping program between these two. So in case my sender structure and the receiver structure are different, I have to use a mapping program which maps this component in between. So we'll see how does a mapping program yes. So this is my source interface and this is my target interface, and this is the mapping program which is being used to connect the source interface to the target interface. So when I double click on it, I can see my source structure and my target structure in between. So I can drag it and drop it here to map it specifically, or I can use it some wizard here to map stuff between these. And I have some built-in functions which I can use to process some data in between. If I want to make it a substring or concatenate multiple number of items and map it to into a field of a target structure, I can do that here. So this talks about interface determination, and we have something called sender agreement and receiver agreement. So whenever a sender agreement is done, it says that what should be my sender and what channel I will use to communicate with the receiver. Similarly, this is what is a save it. This note is a brief idea of what is integration directory, and runtime workbenches briefly. I can say these are some tools which are being given by SAP to monitor. So you can monitor your components, you can monitor messages, performance, and everything. So I'll just give you an example of what you can do. So if I want to say that some of my channels, some of my channels, I'll go to communication channel monitoring, and here I can take the input health. I want to see what is the health of this communication channel. So from here I can know, yeah, this status is green, it's error free, so it's absolutely in a perfect health and ready to use. And these are some performance tools. I have not used it, but we can keep on exploring on this stuff. So that's it. This was a brief introduction to XI and what are the various components which are being provided by SAP XI to work with. We'll look into some more application-based scenario and further sessions. Okay.